Good afternoon, everybody. Kurt Risch here, and thanks for joining me on the One Shepherd, where we support seekers and believers. So this afternoon, we are continuing with our New Testament reading on Matthew chapter 16. Then the Pharisees and Sadducees came, and testing him, asked that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, When it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and threatening. Hypocrites, you know how to discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign shall be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed. Now when his disciples had come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Jesus said to them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of Pharisees and the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have taken no bread. But Jesus, being aware of it, said to them, O you of little faith, why do you reason among yourselves because you have brought no bread? Do you not understand or remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets you took up? Nor the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many large baskets you took up? How is it you do not understand that I did not speak to you concerning bread, but to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees? Then they understood that he did not tell them to beware of the leaven of the bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and Sadducees. When Jesus came into the region of Caesarea and Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? So they said, Some say John the Baptist, some say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the other prophets. He said to them, But who do you say that I am? Simon Peter answered and said, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus answered and said to him, Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. And guys, we have a word study here that's kind of an important one to look at, and this is a word study of Peter and his name. It's relevant to Jesus pointing to the rock that he's going to build a church on. So let's go ahead and look at this. Peter, as we see here, is Petros, as used here in verse 16, or chapter 16, verse 18, as well as also used in John 1:42. The Strong's Concordance number is 40074, rock. We also see the Greek Petra, and the places it's used, and that's Strong's 40073. So as Peter and rock are one word in the language spoken by Jesus, Aramaic, the wordplay in the verse can be duplicated only in languages that also have one word for both. In Greek, the word for Peter is Petros, meaning stone. The word for rock is Petra. Some commentators have indicated that though the two words are nearly synonymous, Jesus intended a distinction. Peter is but a fragment of the whole, while Christ himself is the entire rock. Thus it could be said that the church would be built on Christ, the rock. Be that it is as it may, at least it can be said that the context allows that the rock upon which the church is built is Peter's confession that Jesus is the Son of God. So guys, that's an important distinction, because there are churches out there that believe that Peter was the rock on which the church is built. But yet if we study Scripture, and here if we do a really careful study of the word for Peter's name versus the word he uses for the rock upon which the church is built, we do see a distinct difference, implying that it is Christ and Peter's confession that Christ is God that is what the church will be built on. All right, let's go ahead and continue with verse 20. Then he commanded his disciples that they should tell no one that he was Jesus the Christ. And by the way, Christ in Greek means Messiah. So this is Jesus the Messiah. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and raised on the third day. That is the sign of Jonah, by the way, guys. Remember, he was swallowed by a great fish. And if you read the story of Jonah, it's a pretty significant thing that actually happens to him. But he spends 3 days in the belly of a fish. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Far be it from you, Lord, this shall not happen to you." But he, being Jesus, turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me, for you are not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men." So guys, I just want to point out here, Jesus just, commented that Peter's blessed because God had revealed to him that Jesus is the Son of God, or God. And now Peter takes a step backwards because he doesn't want the will of God to happen. He doesn't want to see Jesus die. So he calls that out. And of course, Jesus literally calls Peter Satan. He doesn't really believe Peter Satan. He's pointing to the fact that Peter, in trying to do his own will, is serving Satan. All right, let's keep going. Verse 24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man will come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he will reward each according to his works. Assuredly, I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." Okay, guys, that's it for our New Testament reading of Matthew chapter 16. Please be sure to like and subscribe below, and feel free to share this out as it helps get our videos spread around and to share the gospel. Also, if you have comments or questions, please put them below. I'll be glad to get back to you. You can join me tomorrow morning for a continuation of our Old Testament reading in the book of Genesis. In the meantime, have a great evening and God bless.